Welcome to yet another powder room. Yes, parece ser que el levante ha olido agosto. Before it's time, it's sniffing out August, because we know how awful the beach is in August with all the Levant that comes in, and it's starting. I just cannot wait till this rubbish is over. I hate summer. Hate summer.
Don't be like that.
I have to be like that.
No, we
it's
love
horrible.
the summer. Make the most of it.
Well, maybe, yeah, there are moments, I guess. So, ladies, today we have with us Rena, Karishma and Leslie down the end there. And as usual, lots to talk about, but let's catch up with you first. So it's been a whole week of feria, of celebrations, people toing and froing, of people not understanding why there's a queue at the front here suddenly, of fights in El Guari and all sorts happening around Jib. What are your views? What have you been up to? Have you been to the fair?
I haven't. I was away last week. But I'm back now. I was on holiday, went to Almeria.
Oh, very nice.
Up that area.
Very hot, no?
It was very hot, very Levantry. I did not escape
Levante in Almeria?
Yes, I did not escape it. Yeah.
Interesting.
It was very hazy, very warm. The sea was like 29 degrees. It was very
29
hot.
degrees?
It felt like a bath.
So basically you were taking a bath.
It literally felt like that.
Hence the reason why I hate summer. What's the point if you
Because
can't cool
the
down?
days are longer, you go out for a few drinks with your friends.
You put on weight in summer.
What are you saying about me?
Huh?
What are you saying about me?
No, you haven't put on weight in summer. I mean, generally, plural, people put on weight in summer. I certainly do.
Well, then September comes and you start your fitness regime in time for Christmas.
Ay, que negativa soy.
I did go to the fair for the first time.
You went to the fair?
Yeah, and you're shocked, aren't you? You didn't
I am
expect
actually
that.
shocked.
Yeah, for the first time in over 10 years, probably 15 years.
I haven't been in that long as well.
Because my 35-year-old daughter, who was visiting, wanted to go. So
Why not?
I went with her and we
And
went
what
for a
did you
wander
think?
around. It was all right. It was.
Did you go on the rides?
No.
Is it as noisy as I remember?
No, it wasn't actually that bad. It was quite nice. It was quite pleasant. It was a really nice warm night. We went around and we had some. She had some crisps that she wanted to have, and then we had some churros, and then we went home.
Churros, the usual. A little bit of a walk, some churros.
Yeah, just
it's
to
fine.
stand
Get
around.
out
It
of
was quite nice.
You didn't go to the stalls, no?
Yeah, Alex tried to do the dart one, and because she wanted to win a soft toy sausage dog, which were all the rage this year.
They're all the
and she was
rage.
very upset that she didn't win one.
But you didn't go down to the stalls.
Yeah, we went down the stalls.
The market
yeah, we
area?
went down there. It was very nice down there, actually. Lots of the same stuff there, and some of it looked like it came from the 1980s.
Really?
Yeah, there was some 1980s tat going on there.
I probably fell for that because I went to the feria.
You went to the feria? How did you like it? First experience?
And I got all this jewellery from one of the markets, and he was like, "Everything looks good on you." I was like, "Fine, I'll take it all." And like 50 euros later, I was like, "I don't need all this stuff."
Rena, seriously? You fell for it?
I fell for it, but it's quite nice jewellery, even if it's going to last for
a
couple of weeks or whatever.
You spent 50. You got 50 euros out of it. Oh my
50 euros out of me.
So that was your first time at the fair. What was
No,
your
no,
first impression?
I've been before. So when I first came, I loved it the first year because anything that's new, it's a novelty, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's brand new, and everyone's outfits, everything looks amazing. I think by the second and third year, it starts to get a bit more familiar. Yeah. I get a bit of sensory overload in the casetas. There's just so much music from every single stall that it's a bit much. But it wasn't so bad this year. I didn't go there to party. I just went to walk around and the stalls.
I do love seeing the traditional outfits, though. I think they look amazing.
Yeah, they
do look amazing.
And now you can see all the different versions of them and more modern versions of the Spanish dress, which is really nice. So I think that's nice to see. It's nice to see that they all, on a Thursday night, they decide that they're going to get dressed up.
It's a massive thing in Spain. I mean, you'll find that a lot of the locals, I was going to say the Spaniards that work in Gibraltar, they take their leave during this time because they tend to take the whole week off. So it is really something that they look forward to annually. And
traditionally, they spend the year saving up for
I've had that too.
And
those outfits are not cheap. They're really expensive. I mean, they look amazing.
Yeah.
They do. It's a family event, isn't it?
Yeah.
I walked through I forgot what you call it, the event where the street parties, the family street parties. It was really nice. Just all the families together having their food and snacks and drinks outside. The streets were a mess at the end, but I was so surprised at how quickly they cleaned up the streets. The next day it was pristine again.
It must have been Domingo Rociero, maybe.
Domingo Rociero,
That's a big. Y el Día de la Mujer también.
There was another day.
I
can't remember which one.
El Día de la Mujer, probably.
Where they throw out the sweets and things like that for the children.
Oh, isn't that the first day where they have a bit of a like
Cabalgata.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
that's
the
the
first
Friday.
day. Yeah.
And they have all their pageant winners kind of dressed up and parade.
Right.
I think they
Yes.
do that on the first
Oh,
day.
it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I haven't
what
been
do?
in many more
No,
years than 15. I think the last time I went, my kids were kids. So I haven't been at all. Anyway, moving on. Did you know that Gibraltar could well be one of only 3 countries in the world at present that might implement a generational smoking ban? So to learn a little bit more about this, take a look at the clip.
The command paper published by Health Minister Gemma Arias Vázquez outlines plans to prohibit the sale of tobacco to anyone born on or after the 1st of January 2009, coming into effect in 2027, when that group turns 18. The proposed law would also ban the sale and advertising of single-use vapes and prohibit nicotine sales to under 18s, with strict requirements for retailers. The public consultation is now open, with responses accepted via email or in writing until Tuesday the 22nd of April. Minister Arias Vázquez described the draft bill as one of Gibraltar's most forward-thinking public health proposals, aiming to protect young people, promote well-being and reduce environmental harm.
So it's very likely to be implemented this as from January next year, as it is in the UK. It actually was implemented or tried in, I think, Australia, New Zealand. I think it was Australia, and they failed miserably. Why do you think they failed? It's yet another ban. It seems that more and more we're getting bans left, right and centre. Do you think something like this might work? Let's clarify. As from that date, any child, it will be illegal for them to go into a shop and buy tobacco. That's pretty loose.
But it's a generational ban.
Generational ban.
So
So
it
the idea
basically means
is,
for the rest of their lives they can never buy
so
tobacco.
the idea is that the smokers will eventually die off,
yeah.
and the world, or the country in this case, will be smoke-free because they will never get the chance to smoke.
I'm all for it. Gotta say, my children are born after the 1st of January 2009, and I'm very excited that they're not going to be able to buy cigarettes or vapes or hopefully also those
in
pouches.
a practical sense, Karishma, do you see that working? I mean,
I
their
don't
friend who
see-
is 6 months older can buy them cigarettes.
Yes, but I think you'll get to the point where it's just not cool. It's just most people don't smoke.
True.
So it'll just become one of those things that will die
think it
out.
will wheedle out?
Yes, I do think so. If you look at children nowadays, I feel like they are more health conscious. There's a lot more about protein. There's a lot more about bodybuilding and training and matcha and not drinking as much. I don't think
have
the
you
younger
seen the number of
generation.
them who are vaping?
Yes, but I
You know,
do
if it's-
think that
they-
has been sold to them specifically.
Yes, it has. But
So once these rules come in to change that, then that will stop. I'm hoping.
I think in theory it sounds great. Practically.
Yeah.
So if you take in 2040, one of these children is 31 and the other one is 30. The 31-year-old can buy, the 31-year-old can buy, but the other one can't.
Yeah.
Now, who is asking a 30-year-old for proof of age?
Exactly. This
this
was
point.
the issue that they had with private shops and businesses.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't be able to tell the difference,
No.
and you cannot be
You can't.
asking
No.
everybody for ID,
ID.
all the time.
And I think that's the problem with it. It's like when you've got them at the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, even up to 25, I'd say, it is reasonable to be asking for people
Yes.
because it's difficult to tell. But when people are getting into 34, you're never going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
At that age, you can still see that they're quite young. But when you're getting into proper adulthood, you know, on a given day, somebody can think somebody looks 60 or somebody looks 50. The same person. Different
right.
people will
But I
have
think
that
it
view
is
of
only
them.
going to just be that border of,
Yeah.
a few days apart, a few months apart, maybe a year apart. But the idea is a generational shift.
I
So
get
it will take
that.
years to get there.
But
the only problem is that it's
have to
not
start
just
somewhere.
about buying the tobacco. You can still have possession of it and you can still smoke it. So this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the issue.
That's
If you-
not
Yes.
illegal.
That's not illegal. So
yeah.
if you wanted to do it properly, probably the best thing would have been to just ban it altogether.
Yeah.
And no one's allowed to smoke after that age.
but also-
which I know then raises so many concerns about there's no freedom then for an adult.
So
an adult
is
age
this a
18.
nanny state now? is it a nanny state that we're deciding what people can or can't do? I think, one, people will substitute it with something else. People have something that they want to get some pleasure out of and will substitute it for something else.
But they don't legalise marijuana. So
this is the thing, it's just
exactly.
It's just turning smoking into
when you look in history, when they had prohibition,
yes,
it didn't stop people drinking alcohol.
No, they just
it drove it underground.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
when
lots of people who were doing it illegally made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen with cigarettes.
But you've also got to question, well, what happens to the enormous businesses that create tobacco? At the end of the day, you are putting them under. They would have to diversify.
Yes.
But you are killing off their trade.
You'll never kill off their trade. A tobacco company is always going to be in business. You can't make them stop selling tobacco. So that's the thing. As much as you try and enforce,
But eventually, in years and
yes.
years and years to come, Rena, there will be nobody to sell tobacco to. That's the idea, isn't it?
if we made it illegal altogether, if we turned tobacco into like a Class A drug where you just cannot buy it, then that's the only way of wiping out the sale of it. But at the moment, you're fighting against a business and the tobacco companies, they're never going to die out. They're going to make their way of selling the tobacco. There's so many tobacco companies.
Or they have to diversify into something else. I don't think tobacco companies losing out is an argument to not do it because it's causing harm.
And doing it this way as a generational thing, they have time to diversify because there are still people who can and will buy tobacco for the next few years.
But what I'm saying is that once all those tobacco smokers stop, who are they going to sell tobacco to?
Well, no, then they will diversify. I mean, I think they started with vapes. I personally think they went about the whole vape marketing thing very badly, and that's pushed governments into this new way. Because if they hadn't pushed it to younger children with fancy flavors and it's not so bad for you, I think it wouldn't have
I think the
come
problem
to
is you've
this.
introduced a new addiction. So even if it doesn't have any health consequences, it's an addiction. So I've personally seen children as young as 14 addicted to vaping and actually needing help to come off it because they've been too young to realise what they're doing, started doing what their friends are doing, and it's an addiction. It affects a child just like it affects an adult.
When I
get them
was in
off
Scotland recently, I saw children much younger.
Yeah, it's
than
worrying.
14, vaping.
No, there's no argument that it's bad for you, that this vaping thing has gotten out of hand, because there's a lot of evidence now, and you would know that, Rena, being in medicine, that it's almost as bad as smoking, and in instances worse. But then with me, it begs the question, like, well, why isn't there a generational ban on alcohol?
Yeah.
Why does alcohol always allowed and not watched in the same way? Because if you go into the facts and the figures of the NHS and what it costs them for alcohol-related incidences and illnesses, of which there are many, because alcohol changes your personality. Smoking doesn't. So you become more promiscuous, you let your guard down, your character changes.
Become more violent.
You become more violent. There's a lot of things that have a knock-on effect. It costs the NHS billions, actually almost 3 billion more than smoking-affected incidences do, which are COPD, stroke-related issues, and that kind of thing.
I think it would be difficult.
Why not the alcohol?
No, you have a point. Alcohol's not exactly a good thing to be consuming either. But for the people that do take it in moderation and safely, it's fine. It's not a problem. You can take up to 14 units a week. It's the people that go over that, the problematic ones.
But the same thing happens with tobacco. It's an addiction, no? Because you can stay, oh, well, I'm a social smoker.
But any level of smoking is obviously not good. So I would have to be telling a patient.
But is
even
there
if
a
they're
level
smoking.
of taking alcohol that's good?
Up to you can take
3 glasses of wine a day is good?
a week. That would be okay.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be
But
cutting my patient off
the
if they were
added
doing
problem
that.
we have with the ban is we have Spain on our doorstep, and Spain aren't banning it.
Yeah.
So we now
But
have an
I
open
think
frontier
it's a little bit...
where our children can walk over.
But you know what I've seen progressively over this period of time? The mobile phone, the mobile phone social media ban, that is a perfect example how one starts and there's a knock-on effect and the other follows through and through and through and through because it's backed up by the science. So I see this as something that's just a ball starting to roll, and one will follow through eventually.
Yeah,
in the other.
it's not just Gibraltar and the UK. I mean, there's other countries. New Zealand pioneered the concept of it. Portugal
Yeah.
are aiming for a smoke-free generation by 2040.
lot of them are.
Canada, Australia started. They pulled back because they had a change in government, and the new government decided that's not something they
to.
wanted to do. You've got France, Mexico. There's loads of countries that have already
So there you
started.
go.
So
It's
I
already
think something
started.
more realistic would have been just banning smoking in certain areas. Like, I still can't understand why in a public area, on the beach, in a restaurant, that you've still got people smoking around you. I feel that those areas should be protected. I mean, even outside the hospital, we tried to create a smoke-free zone just opposite the hospital, because you'd be walking through a
My God,
cloud
what a
of
mess
smoke.
that area
and
is.
I don't think it's really worked.
No, that's failed. They've tried that numerous times. When I
Yeah.
worked in the GHA,
Yeah.
they tried that. It has failed numerous times to stop
Yeah.
people smoking around
so
the premises.
you can't seem to protect areas for no smoking. So that's why it's a great incentive, all of this, but I'm just not sure how much people will follow the rules if they can't follow the basic rules.
Yeah.
I think the principles of it are great. I just don't know how the implementation's actually
but
going
maybe
to work.
that's why they've had to push it to one step further, because people are not following the basic ones.
There'll be a black market. You know, there will eventually
Yes.
be a black market where you can access these things quite freely. And then the whole incentive of making taxes higher to stop people from smoking, that just won't matter anymore. Nobody's going to be buying it officially. It will all be from the black market.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it. People find ways around it.
I always find that education on the subject is a good thing. But we have tackled the education. I think everything that you need to know is out there at your fingertips for parents to be able to say and educate their children in turn to not go down this route, like with the vaping, for example.
But how many
Is there
parents vape
any
thinking
more we
it's-
can do like that, do you think?
The problem is that people start smoking usually in their 20s, early 20s. So by then, if you're addicted, that's when you're in a problem, because you will just carry on. So people don't usually start smoking in their 30s or 40s or 50s.
Not
It's
generally,
usually quite,
no.
Exactly.
Probably uni and partying, all of
Yeah,
those things.
and that's usually when it starts. It might
Yeah,
just be
late
social, and then
teens.
it turns into an addiction. So then it's just too late to try and stop. So when I'm then dealing with patients who are literally in the hospital all the time with their COPD, with exacerbations, and they're really unwell, there's only so much I can keep telling them. You need to stop smoking, otherwise your
Yeah.
life expectancy is literally 1 year, as opposed to you could have a bit more life in you if you stop smoking. It's entirely their decision, and they don't often stop. So it's really difficult to stop someone when they are then that far along and they're in a really bad way.
Yeah.
The education side of it has clearly had an effect. There are definitely less people smoking than there used to be. You know,
Yeah.
I
think,
I used to
yes.
feel quite often that I'd be the odd one out not smoking.
Yeah.
And now I don't feel that way. The smokers
Yeah.
are the
No,
odd one.
I feel like I'm
Yes.
the odd one out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
better in that
So
respect.
in that respect, so it's definitely had an impact. There are
Yeah.
definitely less. It's how do you, and would that naturally lead to even less and less? You know.
And that's why this is a good incentive, because if
Yeah.
you start it from the age of any 18-year-old, that's when they are likely to start. So if you can prevent it then if you're just reducing it by 20%, 30%, and eventually a bit more, then that's the way to try and
Yeah.
generationally have an effect on it. So it's not going to be immediate. It would
I
take a
just
while.
sometimes think that
It's
when
a
you
very
ban
slow thing,
something,
yeah.
you get the opposite effect.
I think
People
we-
want something that they're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
But they also need to
True.
focus. It's not just smoking and vaping now. The kids now have these pouches of tobacco that they put into their mouth.
Oh,
and
this
they
is
keep in their
new.
gum.
No, that's nicotine.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
nicotine.
So, yeah, I think they started in one of the Scandinavian countries. But yes, you get these things called snus, which are like
That's it.
tiny tea bags, and you put them in your mouth and it releases nicotine. Great that there's no tobacco, but they are so bad for you.
Yes.
Like, you can get so unwell.
Seems almost the worst thing amongst all the
Yeah.
others.
So,
And
so
a really
parents
high
got a
hit,
letter
so-
from school and warning us
And
about
kids are
this.
doing- in
Kids are
Jib, they're doing
in
this.
Jib, they're doing it.
See, I'm
it's-
out of
it's-
touch with
it's a
what the
big
children are
thing.
doing.
So I think it needs to be broadened. So yeah, it's great that they're focusing on this for tobacco, but
Yeah.
there probably should be a wider spread look at other
Everything
things that
else.
children are getting into.
That's incredible. Let me
Yeah.
just read a couple of, we've got 3, I think. This one's from Swag. Why ban tobacco and not alcohol? Don't see that as being right. I completely agree with you, Swag. If you're going to go down one route, take it all out. I don't see why government has to control my life if in not smoking. That too. Your body, your temple.
Yeah.
You should have the right to do with it as you please, so long as you have all the information at hand. But then
But
again,
you get
not as a
secondhand smoke
strain
and third-hand
on the
smoke, so
government,
it's
on
not.
the NHS and the health.
Exactly. I mean, from a medical perspective, it's the
GHA
effect that
gonna
it
go.
has on health burden. So your costs in the GHA will be so much higher.
Yeah.
Trying to help the people that are smoking, who have advanced COPD, who will probably every month be in hospital, needing a bed, needing the nurses' care, needing all the medication to get them out of this exacerbation. Yet they don't stop smoking, so they come back, very frequently. All of these are burden on the health and the finances in the hospital. So from a medical perspective, we kind of need to make a change because, yes, every adult has the freedom to do whatever they want. But if it's having an effect on the health and the availability of health for everyone else, then you do need to sort of change something from my perspective.
He also says you can stop smoking in the streets, bars, restaurants, but not to ban myself from smoking in your house. I don't think it would ever get to a point of banning somebody from smoking in the house. And they've already banned places, even outside on terraces. It can be very uncomfortable. You tend to move away from a family that may have a newborn in a pram, and there's that consideration to take. It's a difficult one. Hang on a minute here. So this one says, this is who? Frank. Re tobacco and alcohol. Could the issue be moral education? I think I mentioned education before. Do you think?
I think there's enough education on what you should and shouldn't be doing. I think most people would know smoking isn't good for you.
Oh, something completely different here. We might change subject. Something we could cover another time, if not. The £15 entry fee for non-residents in Gibraltar.
We talked about it. We were talking about it.
Everybody's welcome to drop in notes. It is an unfair barrier that discourages tourism. I actually read this one online, and if you were the same person that put that in the Facebook comment, I tend to agree with you. Compared to Spain, which offers better facilities and a stronger economy, Gibraltar's fee seems counterproductive. This policy overlooks Gibraltar's potential and needs consideration to promote growth and goodwill. I can't remember what this was for. I can't remember now. I read so many things. What was it?
The Nuffield pool.
Nuffield pool.
Ah, of
and
course.
Yeah, and Gassa.
The Gassa swimming pool. They were going to charge, I think, locals is £3 or £1.
A pound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And £15 for non-residents. I think that's pretty steep.
Yeah,
I think
if we want to
yeah.
encourage
we were
people to
discussing
come.
it
Yeah,
before
we
we came on air.
discussing. It is steep.
Yeah.
It is.
We differ in our opinions
well, no.
on it.
I agree it is steep, but I do think that at least for the moment, while we're still figuring out the treaty and the people in and out, that there's no harm in having a difference in pricing for locals and for non-locals, especially when you consider we pay taxes, we have things like free buses, maybe not a massive difference like they are suggesting, but I think while we're all settling into the new norm, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
The timing of it feels a bit like, it feels a bit, we don't want you here.
That's what it's kind of saying.
And
you know what?
I don't like
I
that.
actually agree with Karishma. I think there should be a charge.
Yes, but not
we
£15.
need to take priority. It's our country,
absolutely.
our space.
Yep.
But then I could say the same for parking. We've
Yes.
talked about this a million times.
Yeah.
No, we need
Make
a
sure
priority
that
for
there is a
parking.
fee
Yes.
for cars coming in. This is one aspect of the open border that I was thinking about the other day. The influx of cars, because of the queues, so many people used that car park and left their cars on the other side. Now they don't need to. So that's even more cars, more congestion, more pollution, and definitely more nabbing our car parking spaces, which is something I resent to a degree.
I think we've discussed this before, because the original point of the one on Devil's Tower Road, that car parking, was for a park and ride. Yeah. And that didn't happen. And I think there is a case for, I believe it's San Marino that does it. They don't allow foreign cars because of the size. Yeah. It's not being, difficult. It's not being against foreigners. It's just that there is no capacity.
But where would they park anyway? I'm obviously a bit amateur here, but Where would they park? There's nowhere to park if you
There
don't
is
have
nowhere
a
to park
parking
'cause
space.
it's-
Oh, they find all the free parking. Any
It's
single free
amazing
parking they
how
will
they
find.
do it. I went to Western Beach with my kids the other day because they're here for a short stay, and I was shocked at how many Spanish reg cars there were. But I think a lot of them are the workers that are in Eroski. So I don't shoot me over this. Don't kill the messenger. But they find places that not even we know. It's amazing.
But there are people who come into Gibraltar to work who park in Buena Vista Road because it's the free parking between 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. They're that. So during the day when they're at work, they drive park in Buena Vista Road and get the number 2 bus into town.
So if you didn't know that already,
See them
now you
there all
know.
the time.
Yeah. And if you've got like Grand Parade, so they have a section which is free
Europa.
parking, a section which is pay parking, and a section which is resident permit.
Well, free parking is the bare
They
minimum.
will find the free parking.
Yeah.
The free parkings guaranteed are taken up by foreign cars. Guaranteed.
It's
Grand
really
Parade.
tough. But yes, going back to that comment, I think £15 is
I
pretty
think
steep.
£15 is too steep. There are other options. You could limit the number of tickets available, or number of places
Yep.
available for people who are from outside
Or a
Gibraltar.
time frame.
Or a time frame,
Between this
or
time
whatever,
and
so
that
that you're
time.
allowing for it. But also by putting that in, you're working it also against Gibraltarians who have got visitors.
True.
Yeah.
Having
What-
family over,
having
like I
family
have.
over and they want to go. What
Yeah.
are they supposed to do? £15 for a family of 4 to go. Nobody's going.
£15 a head.
Ahead,
Imagine.
exactly. I know that's
And
what
then
I'm
they
saying.
want ice cream.
Exactly. On top of that, so I just think it's, I don't know, it's too harsh. I get the reason that we have to
Yes.
make sure that the facilities that are for local people who pay taxes are there for them.
Yeah.
But I think there's another way to do it.
Yeah. And now that we're opening up to a whole new world of opportunities and tourism, and
Yeah.
there is so much money to be made from tourism, we want to be seen as welcoming. We
do.
want to be seen as, you
But
know.
we have to remember this is brand new. It's the
Yes, for
treaty's
sure.
been
There's-
a
there's
week.
gonna be teething.
So I think while everything settles into the new norm, I think there's
Yeah,
no
I
harm
think we're getting a
in
lot of
this.
attention right now. Lots of people are
Exactly.
coming right now because they haven't been coming across. They want to see. There's lots of Spanish people driving around in cars looking lost in Gibraltar at the moment. You get stuck behind them and they don't know where they're going. So they've obviously thought, let's go to Gibraltar for the day. That will die down. That
it will all die
it
down.
will die
It's
down
like
and will
anything that's
become-
new and shiny.
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
becomes-
It's like what we said
Yeah.
last time. Everyone finds change difficult. So initially it's going to be a bit of a shock, but people will adjust to it. You know, whatever the rules are, even if they're things that we don't agree with initially, I think people will adapt to it.
I mean,
Just
you
the
had
change hits you
the
initially.
Spanish taxis coming in the first day. I mean, they've never been allowed to come in, but now they think they're allowed. So there was a bit
You
of a
see,
hassle
that
there.
doesn't offend me. I don't see why a taxi has to drop off its fare at an open border. Why can't he come in and bring them to casemates? As long as he is not taking any business from a taxi and picking up and making fares within our jurisdiction, what is the problem?
Arguably, he is taking.
Yes,
Yeah, but
arguably.
what's wrong
fares,
with
yeah.
our
Because-
taxi drivers dropping people off in
Same.
Soto Grande or
Yes.
in Malaga Airport?
Yeah.
It's the same difference, as long as they are not picking another fare up in Spain.
But
So-
arguably, they are taking away from, because if somebody's dropping off somebody at the border, then they would need somebody else.
But there are no taxis ever at
the
the
border
border.
anyway,
They're hardly even
exactly.
ever at the airport.
I mean,
But-
that's a separate
but what-
conversation. But my
Exactly.
my point from the beginning was you had that issue. On Sunday, there were a couple of arrests of I believe they were Spaniards, or at least not locals. So I think there's just going to be a lot of tension
it just
while
has to
everyone
find its
is
way.
As a
very...
first-time person, having got off from Malaga Airport, Sevilla Airport, and coming to stay at Gibraltar for 4 nights, and having the taxi driver drop me off there and say, "I'm sorry, madam, that's
totally
that's
inconvenient.
80 euros. Make your own way."
Yeah, it's
and that
totally-
person, that's another.
Yeah, that's
You're
not
not
an issue.
welcome
Welcome,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be
But I think what you just
inconvenient
said, it could be reciprocal. So actually, the opportunity
course it could work.
that fare that the Gibraltar taxi is going to miss out on from the border to casemates, they're going to make up in being able to take somebody to Malaga Airport.
But that
Yeah,
might
exactly.
be...
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
to Soto
Yeah.
Grande. Or
I
to
agree with you that
Guanajuato.
I don't think that's the worst thing because it's just convenience at the end of the day. That could be someone local who just wants to get back home with all their luggage and everything and not be left at the border and said, okay, well, I can't go any further, so you make your own way back. It's a massive inconvenience. So I agree with you. I don't think there's anything.
I just think that it's obviously very new, and there are a lot of teething issues, and we just have to give it time to settle.
Everything needs to settle.
I think a lot of people are getting very worked up, understandably, but they're getting very worked up on issues that I think will settle. I think we haven't got the full details of the treaty. I'm still waiting for parcels that are stuck in Madrid because DHL can't get them through.
No, I get all of that.
You know, so I think let's all take a breath, take a step back, and enjoy the beach while we can.
I've got a lot of patience for things like that, but what I am seeing is that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon when things, and there's no tolerance.
Everyone's reactive, right?
Everybody's overreacting, not just reacting, and a lot of it is with misinformation because they haven't got the right, and making assumptions, and it's creating a lot of, I don't know.
Speak freely doesn't always help with these things because one person can rile up so many others is what I see.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think everyone's got an opinion because of massive changes happen in Gibraltar. It's just going to take time for everyone to get their head around it.
Yeah, and not be quite so negative.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to a very short break, and we have more for you in the second part. See you now. Welcome back. Well, it seems that the taxi issue is a little bit of a hot subject at the moment because I'm getting WhatsApps in. So let's have a look at this one. Frank says, taxis, trade licence on both sides. I think there are more reasonable people than I'm giving them credit for. And we've got the problem with taxis is that they all supply the upper rock that brings them more money to the pockets, and the city taxi services are left hanging with no cars to supply airport, frontier and all the rest. They should have more city service for the public 24/7. I'll come back to that one because that's an interesting one. And, oh, we're changing subject again with Henry. I think it's Henry. Good evening. I was at El Guari, but at the Riviera end, so saw it all in social media. Okay, Henry. I don't know whether we're going to go down this route, but thank you for your message. Let's stick with the taxi one, which is really important, this one here. Because is it something we're just saying de boca pa fuera, or have we lived and breathed it? That they are very, very interested, and rightly so, because it gives them the biggest fare, for taking on the tours and doing the upper rock, and less interested, and maybe that's the impression we get, that there are never any around, in doing the short hauls, the airport to town, or to the Elliott's Hotel, for example, or, you know, town to the South District.
Can I just say, I'm absolutely loving the new taxis that look like the Hackney
they're
cars.
lovely, yeah.
I love them, and I think it all feeds into this, you know, more tourism for Gibraltar, giving us that kind of, everyone loves those red pillar
box. Oh, they're always taking photographs.
They love that. So especially the Europeans, if you'd like, who, it doesn't have to be Spanish, but the Europeans that come in, they love it. It's a piece of Britain in Spain. That's what they like. That's what they want.
Taxis was a nice idea.
And I think having those telephone boxes are great. Having the taxis are great. But let's not, you know, detract from the locals who need the service. And okay, you can use the big vans to do the tours up the rock, but those Hackney cars are very useful for town runs, you know, from the border
You're
to
saying
the hotel.
Keep those like for town, but then they would argue with the others that get the bigger fares for the tourism runs.
But
well, how would they? That would be an argument.
But wasn't there a whole
themselves,
thing that there was a condition placed that they had to provide X number of cars for the town service? Has that fallen by the wayside? Because I hear lots of complaints that people can't get taxis. I think on a night out, impossible to get a taxi. Not that I go anywhere these days, but, you know, when I do, a few times, impossible to get a taxi. You come across the border, lots of weddings in Gibraltar are in Spain in the summer. And when you come back across the border after, you can't get a taxi home. People are standing around waiting. And that's about that. I don't understand.
A lot of people complain about the airport as well.
Yeah, and the airport, I've been embarrassed at the airport when tourists are standing there waiting for taxis
there in the heat.
There are no cars.
Probably
It's
better off just
embarrassing.
asking someone local. I'm sure they'd just give you a lift
Give you a
anyway.
lift, I know.
And then there's the cost, because
Yeah.
they're not cheap either, are they?
But,
Just for a
but
short.
surely that, I mean, that brings in money. It might not bring in the same amount as a rock tour, which anyway is a 2-hour, 3-hour tour. So
Yeah.
you're getting a set amount for those 3 hours.
Yeah.
In those 3 hours, how many city runs can you do? Surely it
But also,
Maybe not as much
balances
if
out.
they're trying to do more of the rock tours. I mean, if that's where the money is, you understand if someone's trying to run a business that they want to make as much money from it as they can in a day. So if that's where the money
But
is,
then they can't complain when
Yeah.
the Spanish taxis want to
Yeah.
come in, or when we want an Uber service or a Bolt or whatever the.
But
Yeah.
the whole
private
idea
taxis
behind
is.
this agreement of providing the city service was that they do rotations, so everybody gets the opportunity to make
Yeah.
the money on the tours, but they have a period when they have to make the money doing
Yeah.
the city tour. That seems fair. It wouldn't be fair if it was the same people doing the tours all the time and other people aren't getting the opportunity to do that. That wouldn't be fair. But if they're doing a rotation and they're all getting, then it's a fair, crack at the whip sort of thing. But we cannot be inviting tourists into Gibraltar and not providing transport for them to get around Gibraltar.
What actually happens, because I have not really got taxis, I think once or twice I ordered a taxi, it just didn't turn up and I gave up on the whole idea. But if a tourist comes to the airport and wants to get a taxi into town, do they just refuse, or is it a taxi rank where
No,
the
you have
first
to
one-
wait at a taxi rank.
There's a taxi
You can't
rank
call
that
one
there's
to
no
the airport.
taxis at.
There's no
But
taxis at the rank. So
yeah.
if someone was at the
Oh, we
front...
can't say there's no
No, there's
taxis
none.
out.
Sometimes
there are
there
taxis
To be
that
fair,
come and go.
the
but
last
there
few
could be
times I
more
have
and
been,
more
there have
often.
been more.
Yeah.
So
The last few
if
times
you
I've
go
been,
to the
there've
very
been more.
first taxi, because in the UK, generally, you go to the front of a taxi rank, they have to take you where
That's
you want
right.
to go.
Yeah.
You don't start asking who's,
can't pick
who's
and
able to
choose.
take me or
Yeah.
who's free, who wants
No,
to take me.
I don't
You
think
just
they
have
pick
the-
and choose
the
at the
rule.
airport. You get
Okay,
in the
you can't- you
they
can't.
don't pick and choose.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen.
Okay.
I don't think they pick and choose.
But
at the
that would be
airport.
wrong.
I
The
have
problem
seen
is
them
in
pick and
town-
choose
in
in
town.
town.
They pick and choose.
So that's wrong. That's wrong
Yeah.
because in the UK you cannot do that. You can't ask someone that I'm providing you this service, but
Yeah.
can you take me here? And they say no.
Yeah.
That the first one at the rank has to take you wherever you want to go. That's
And
just a given.
that's. I mean, I've used a taxi in Liverpool the last time I was there, and I went to the what was it? Walking from behind forward, and I thought I'd ask the last one, as in closest to me, and he said, no, sorry, madam, you have to go to the first one. So even they work with each other,
they
which
do.
is fair. You
Having
take
said
the
that, when
first
I was
one.
in Spain and I needed a taxi to Malaga, the driver put me and my friend in with 2 other girls to just drop them somewhere on the way and then take us to the airport.
Like a cab share.
Yeah,
That's
which
not a bad thing either.
they were really upset. They were swearing at him through the whole
Really?
journey, so it was so uncomfortable. But I don't think that's a bad thing. It's more economical, and the Uber services in the
It's
UK have that
greener.
too.
But I don't-
It's definitely
greener
greener.
too.
Yeah, but
Definitely
Rena,
greener.
did he split the fare? I bet he didn't. I bet he charged you the full fare.
I think because they were swearing
Probably.
so much, they didn't. He didn't charge them, so we
Right,
paid the
okay.
full
You
fare.
paid
So
the
it
full
didn't quite make sense in the end, but the concept was good.
I have to say, the last few times that I've had to order a taxi to get to the border, they've come straight away. They've come to get to the airport. They've come straight away to time, and I've had really good service from the taxi service. I think you have to give credit where
No,
credit's
there
due.
are some
they
brilliant
really
taxi
are very
drivers
good, and they're
who are-
good. A lot of them are really good advocates
Yeah.
for Gibraltar.
They are.
They really are,
And very
So I
polite
think-
and friendly.
Yeah, and
It's
very
true.
knowledgeable as well.
I would have thought anyone living in Gib just doesn't need to order a taxi. You've always got a mate you can ask for a lift.
I don't use the bus service or the taxis. It's very, very
use the
rare.
bus service.
Let me just finish off with a couple of these because they're coming in and I can't. It's not fair on the public seeing 10 taxis on the border and all waiting for tours. There's a video on Facebook of a woman approaching the taxi stand on the border and all refused to take her to town
That's so wrong.
because they were all waiting to take for a tour. That's disgusting,
not
quite
good. Wrong,
frankly.
is it?
Wrong.
And somebody thinks it's a piece of Britain in Spain. I don't know where that comment came from. Yeah, so anyway, we'll move on from that because it works nicely into our tourism and making Gibraltar an interesting spot to come and visit and have different things to do. And there's this initiative which has just started now that I personally have absolutely fallen in love with. There are some great ideas in Gib and some fantastic people who work so hard and get creative to implement them. And this is one of them. Take a look. absolutely fabulous. I've actually come across several of them.
Yeah.
One in Casemates, I think the one in behind Parliament, one in Europa Point, one outside the airport when I went to pick up my kids.
Campion Park, Ocean Village.
I haven't seen Campion Park, haven't seen Ocean
My
Village.
favourite is the Commonwealth Park one. My
But
absolute
the
favourite.
ones I've seen are impressive.
They're
the
brilliant.
detail, the things that they've included, you know, culturally, the connections, the story they tell in the different areas, the finish that they have. I don't know whether they've used yacht varnish or what they've used on those things, but they are beautiful. And people are taking loads of photographs, and we know with social media that spreads like wildfire. What an excellent initiative for Gibraltar.
It's fabulous.
Needs to be more.
Yeah,
I feel like there needs to be one down at Queensway and one down by Eastern Beach or that side of the beaches. Yeah, there needs to be
I
more.
saw a
Brilliant.
post today, because I haven't seen them, but there is an actual guide with a
there?
trail
Yes, and
that you
there's
can
a
follow.
prize apparently
So, yeah.
for that. If you go and buy the guide,
Yes.
they're a charity that work
Yeah.
in Irish Town, and I want to get this right because I'd really, really love you guys to come on the programme and explain in a little bit more depth, because there's a lot of information to take on board. But briefly, they're a charity, an arts charity, a group, a community group. So there's ways of expressing themselves through all the ages and in many different artistic forms in Gib, through sculpture, paintings and murals, which is another one of my favourite things around Gib. There should be so many more of those too. And they did the map, and the idea is you purchase the map and that will take you into a raffle, I think, and you can get a prize by getting involved, and then you follow the trail to all of the apes to take a good look at them and photographs and so on and so forth. And each ape has a plaque at the base that tells you who the artists were. Many were community groups, and then there were 3 or 4, I think, personal artists, and who sponsored them. It's not a government initiative. This has been solely born out of themselves because of their love and passion, and because they wanted to do this. And I'm blown away by it personally.
I also understand that they will be auctioned off at
It's
some
going to be
point.
around for a year.
Yeah.
I
And
had
then they'll be
half
auctioned
an
off.
argument on
Yeah.
the phone with her, pleading her to make it a permanent fixture, because for tourism,
It's fantastic.
it's incredible.
But they could do something. So I've seen this in Southampton. They had a similar
Right.
incentive. There were rhinos and I think zebras some years later. But it was really exciting when the zebras then came along, because you would want to go and find them all, and it would be quite exciting when.
What was the idea with the zebra?
So, well, it's something to represent Southampton and the New Forest, or whatever.
Okay.
Something to do with animals. I can't remember why zebras, but you just had a chance to find them all. So we had rhinos to begin with, and then there was a new year of zebras. So we can do something like that similar in Gibraltar, I'm sure, in a few years' time, have a
Yeah.
different animal.
There's a few
or-
cities in the UK, quite a lot of cities actually.
Yeah, they do that,
have had
right?
different ones like that.
Yeah.
Brighton had one. I know Dundee, my hometown, had different ones. I think they had penguins in Dundee.
And it encourages local people to actually walk more, because then you want
Yes.
to go and find them all.
Yes.
So it's really good incentive.
And it's a fun activity
It is.
with a family as well.
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
today we're going to find the trail of
Yeah.
monkeys, take pictures with all the monkeys with the kids. Although I tried that with my granddaughter, she's only 3, and she wouldn't go anywhere near us.
She's scared of them.
They go, do you want to sit with Abuela and I'll hold you here? And it was her, me, and I kind of took I'm really rubbish at selfies, as I was telling you before, kind of took a selfie with her, but I've so enjoyed the ones that I've seen.
They are really beautiful. They're really
They are
outstanding.
such a good
yes.
idea.
Stunning.
And so well
Fantastic.
done.
How talented.
So
very-
well painted.
And all of
Really
them
beautiful.
have, like, where they're sitting now is reflected in the art of that ape as well. There's some connection to what is on it
Yeah.
with where it is.
Yeah, like the one in Ocean Village is marine life.
Yes.
So it's blue. Yeah, they're a work of art, and it gives the artist a lot of recognition as well. Like I've
Yeah.
started following a
I
couple
loved
of them
it.
on
It's
Instagram.
so
they-
well thought through. The one in Europa Point is all Moroccan, all
Oh, is it?
Arabic.
I haven't seen that one.
yeah.
I
I
need
need
to go
that.
see that
yeah, I
one.
need to,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go and do the trail. 'Cause I
Yeah,
want
let's
to see
do
the
that.
map. Yeah,
We
we
can-
should
we can do a powder room
Absolutely
trail.
trail. Yeah.
We need to have more of this in Gibraltar. This one, I'm surprised that culture and tourists the tourist department or government didn't actually commission this. I thought that it was, but they already do a lot themselves. I mean, the latest one, the I Love jib with the cutout of the monkey's head. Love
Fantastic.
that one.
It's really nice. Yeah.
That is a long time coming. That's a really good one to have. as well.
And the Gibraltar one that's outside Midtown.
You
at the park,
used it for a photo op, didn't you?
for a photo opportunity for my daughter who got married on Thursday.
got married.
It's actually a spectacular photograph with the two of them right in the middle
really
of the
is.
thing. It's a really nice photograph.
Stunning.
Yeah, so it just shows you that it can be used for all sorts of things. But I think that's a really good tourist one as well. You're getting the whole
I
name of
think
Gibraltar
we
in
should
there.
have more.
Yeah,
and actually,
definitely.
the ones that I've seen abroad, one time that we went to the north of Spain, there was, the north of Spain is absolutely stunning. It's a trip everybody should do. There was the most incredible cathedral. And they had a gorgeous one for that Asturias place. I can't remember which of the towns it was, but placed in an angle in front of the cathedral. So it was very strategically placed. So the shot that you get is of a stunning sign like that, but you get the background, which is the cathedral. So perhaps that's something we could look into too, in placing more of them, or in strategic areas where the backdrop says a lot about Jib when that picture is posted.
There's certain positions at Europa Point, from a photographer's perspective, if you had it play, you get the whole of the outline of the rock in the back and the mosque. So it's actually, you could put it in a place there that you'd get that beautiful drop with the mosque and then the rock behind you.
Yeah. Just, there's somebody here. Karishma, I don't know that you said this. I think I repeated it from somebody who'd written it. Please tell Karishma we are not a piece of Britain in Spain.
No.
You didn't say
Karishma
that,
didn't
did
say
you?
that.
I said tourists think that.
Oh,
Tourists
think
do.
that.
They do. They think it's a bit of Britain and Spain. That's what they
That's what
say.
they
I'm
do.
not saying
They
it
do,
is.
yeah.
What,
but
like the
that's
TV programme Ben al Medina?
Ben and Medina.
So there's
Marbella.
a TikTok, a
Ben
girl
Jones.
on TikTok who got bombarded because she posted this TikTok about coming into Gibraltar, and she constantly referred to us as being Spain, and she got hammered by Gibraltarians in her comments, including me.
Education. I am
It's
still fed
education,
up.
but I'm saying let's lean into it a bit. If that's what brings people, I'm not saying we are, but you know, the taxis and the
Put a play on it, you mean.
the telephone boxes, even the poster boxes we have are very
I think
British.
that was the point.
Yes,
the point
but
was
that's my
to
point.
show our Britishness.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're also influenced by the culture of the
course.
Mediterranean as
Yes,
well.
yes.
So it is the mix.
I just meant the taxi, the black hackney cabs. That's what I meant.
The Little Britain.
Yes.
Yeah, Little Britain. No, I think
It's a great
it's
show.
getting there with the balance, and I think it's important that our culture is maintained and. But education is everything. It still rubs me up the wrong way, and I correct people constantly, complete strangers, when in conversation they refer to Gibraltar as an island.
Oh, it drives me mad.
It drives me insane. It's like you've never heard the word peninsula, nor do you know what it means, you know? You think it's an island? Really?
Well,
I think an island sounds more exotic than a
But it's also,
peninsula.
you think it's an island, but you walked across a piece of land to get
Exactly,
here.
from one country to another. So it's
Did you not
actually
notice the
logistically
water was
impossible.
missing?
Yeah. Okay, well, that is it for that part. But I wanted actually just to remember a very... Oh, hang on, just before we go, one more. I tend to use the city... it's back to the taxis. The city taxi service frequently and always specify for a small taxi as I have mobility issues and use a walker. I never have had problems with service. I'm grateful, but as a pensioner... that I find it steep to be charged a tenner each way from La Laguna to the hospital entrance. I question if there is a reduced rate for OAPs. What an excellent point.
idea.
I did mention the rates are pretty steep for taxis in Jib.
Well, that would be us. We'd get a rebate.
A tenner from La Laguna to the
ridiculous.
hospital? That's horrific.
That is horrific.
Maybe
Nah.
they can do like taxi shares, you know, to take people to
But
Morrison's or to...
if it's a she, yeah, I think she is right. There
That's a
should
lot of
be
money for
an
pension.
old age pensioners. I wish we'd cut out the word old. It's
Yes,
just not.
pensioners. Just
Pensioners.
pensioners. Yes, let's
The
not
golden
be OAPs.
years,
The golden
people.
years.
That's a really, really good point. We should have a reduced price. Oh my God, I just said we. Anyway, moving on. I'm included now in that batch. Anyway, moving on. Last week, you may have seen a lovely, lovely little girl, and I want to finish the programme with her. She did an incredibly selfless thing and grew her hair over 2 years just to have it chopped off and give away to the little Princesses Fund Trust. As I left the studio last week, I got a text message from Michelle Ruggieri, who works in DHL, and she very kindly offered that DHL would cover the cost of sending her hair over for free. That's the power of television, so I think it's a wonderful thing, and thank you, DHL. Well, the following day, Eva went off to have her hair cut. Let's see how that went.
Hello! Okay, we're gonna cut your hair? Yeah, let's go. Come.
Everyone breathe! Stop scaring me! I'm growing my hair. No, I'm just growing my hair. Look, just trust. One more braid.
Adjust it to the length.
So you're not going to cut straight on the brush? Like
No, just above it. That's why I'm putting it down.
Like there.
Exactly. So make sure you press that.
Mother! It's above my shoulders!
Hey, that was for me though.
No!
And the last one.
Now, I did it! The haircut's done! Thank you so much for your support! Thank you very much. Because of all your kind donations, we've been able to raise £2,500. Thank you so much.
Such an incredible little girl doing a very selfless thing. And you know what? At the end of the day, Eva doing this thing hopefully will inspire a lot of other little boys and girls to do something like it or the same. And it's gone to such a worthy, worthy cause. £2,500, and the hair is no mean feat. She's only 9 years old.
It's amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
And she's going to take over hosting the powder room soon.
She's got the confidence for it.
She's got the confidence. Crikey, that was good. And her father, I've actually interviewed her father before, and John, he's a wonderful man that does a lot for his own illness, which is very debilitating for him. And I wish him and his daughter and his family the very, very best. Well done, Eva. Us at the Powder Room are very proud of you. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you so, so much for joining in and watching, and of course to all of you who sent us messages. We will be back at the same time and the same place next week. Good night.
Blah, 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 blah.